inside Pheno Field. Tim Coed here on the call. Andy Barron, our producer for tonight's Milford Legion baseball broadcast, back in our MyFM studios. And we are just about ready for baseball. Again, some pregame festivities, delaying the start time just a bit here. We expected a 7:45 start time. Looks like now we'll get it in a little bit after 8 o'clock, as now the national anthem has been played. The color guard now making their way off the field, and after that, it will be time for baseball to begin. And one of the interesting things that we talked about with Coach DeVito earlier today during the Sports Buzz, and again during our Crystal Pool and Spa Coaches Corner, was the ability for this team to basically focus on what the task is at hand here tonight, and that is taking on this very tough Quincy team. It's very easy to get caught up in the pomp and circumstance that takes place here at the state tournament, especially on day one, especially with all that just took place here prior to this game here today. So it's easy to lose focus, but important for these players to really stay honed in on what they need to accomplish here tonight. Very important to set the tone for their playoff run for both of these teams. And we know, again, loss puts you right on the brink of elimination. So if you want to continue to control your own destiny, you really need to come out on top with victories. Really not an in-depth point to make, that a victory here is vitally important for your ultimate success in the playoff tournament. So right now, both teams retreating to their respective dugouts. Milford now about to officially take the field. So we are just moments away now from the start of this first game in the 2019 state tournament for Milford Post 59. We gave you the lineups a few moments ago. And Quincy will come to the plate with Matthew Joyce, Martin McCormick, and Curtis Frazier to open this game. And I should point out that our starting lineups are brought to you by the Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home. Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home, located on Water Street in Milford, serving all faiths for over 50 years. David Consigli, the director. And so right now, Post 59 out there on the field, sporting their gold jerseys with blue lettering, white home uniform pants. Milford will serve as the home team in this game, and that was not a given going into the game here tonight. And one of the things that you have to remember during these state tournament games is the home or road team is decided based on a coin flip prior to each game. So Milford and Quincy in a coin flip prior to this one, Milford was able to come out on top, and so they serve as the home team here in their home ballpark. So certainly fitting that Milford has the opportunity to serve as the home team. And meanwhile, one final bit of fanfare here before the baseball game gets underway, as we will have a first pitch ceremony now with a couple of military veterans out on the field. And right now, the public address announcer here at Pheno Field giving the full bio for our veteran who is out there on the field right now, about to throw out the first pitch. And this is such a nice touch that teams have adopted over the years to honor a serviceman or woman prior to these Legion games. Again, obviously the military is such a close tie to Legion baseball, and so great to have an opportunity to recognize active service members, military veterans, and all of their service and sacrifice that they have made in service to our country. And so that first pitch ceremony going out there right now. Jacob Beater about to receive, I should say, the ceremonial first pitch before this game gets started. And so that pitch about to be thrown right now, and still members of the media out there looking to capture this moment with photographs. And now the first pitch on the way, and a big hand from the crowd, a lot of the crowd still standing in salute to the veteran out there on the field. So the first pitch now has been thrown, and now it is time again to get that laser focus for both of these teams, as it has been a long day. I think for both of these teams, they had an opportunity to come here to the field a little bit later on in the day. For Milford, obviously the benefit of having an opportunity to stay at home and rest up through the first portion of this day. And now here at the field, both teams have been here for at least the last couple of hours, taking batting practice, getting ready to go. And so again, very much not the norm for either of these teams to get ready for a game, but an opportunity to now block all of that out and just focus in on the task at hand. Is right now Jonathan Rice is out there on the pitcher's mound going through his final warm-up tosses. And we should say that while we did experience some very warm conditions here earlier today for the games, especially this morning and the early afternoon game, it is very comfortable conditions here at Pheno Field for this game this evening. We expect to have mostly good weather through the bulk of this tournament. I think at this point the only question mark is the final day of tournament play coming up on Wednesday. There's a chance of some thunderstorms on that day, but we expect to have clear skies and warm temperatures through the bulk of the state tournament. But right now it is a comfortable 73 degrees here in Milford to get this game started. So very comfortable conditions for these two teams. They've played in some sweltering heat over the last couple of weeks as they've gone through their respective zone playoffs, but that is not the case here today. We do think there's going to be some warmer weather on the way for tomorrow, and as we take a look quickly at what the temperatures are expected to be throughout the day tomorrow, it is going to warm up to 80 degrees by first pitch time for game number 1 tomorrow. It will be up to 85 degrees by 12 noon when we expect game 2 to get underway. At 5 o'clock, it will be 89 degrees, so that will be the hottest game of the day, that 5 o'clock start time, the third game on the slate for tomorrow. And the temperature will still be right around 84 degrees at 7 o'clock tomorrow. So actually the later games tomorrow should be the warmer ones, but at least that 7:30 start time has the benefit of being played with the bulk of the sun starting to fade off into the distance. So it is always advantageous to play the late game on the schedule, and that is the benefit of winning on the first day of tournament play when you're the host team, as Milford is here. So that is exactly what they will look to do here tonight, as Jonathan Rice now concludes his warm-up tosses, and it is just about time finally to get this game started. We hope you've enjoyed our extended pregame coverage here. Again, our Milford Hardwood pregame show. Milford Hardwood, quality flooring at affordable prices. We also, again, want to remind you just one more time, as we did pull you away right at the final stages of Red Sox baseball, but the Red Sox were able to hold on for a 9-5 victory against the New York Yankees, and so right now they have won the first 3 games of that series. And now it is time for Massachusetts State Tournament baseball to begin here on MyFM 101.3, as the leadoff batter Matthew Joyce stands in on the left side, and the first pitch from Jonathan Rice is a fastball in for strike 1. Rice with plenty of rest. He has not pitched since Milford's first game in the zone playoffs. That was back on July 18th, as now we see a little dribbler over to the right side. Rice will have to cover the first base bag and receives the throw from Steven Simos in time to retire Joyce for out number 1. So that out goes 4-1. As that ball to the right side pulled Johnson off the first base bag. Simos ultimately made the play, but Rice, good job getting to the first base bag to record the first out of this top of the first inning. And now that will bring up the designated hitter, Martin McCormick. McCormick, a right-handed hitter facing the lefty starter Rice, and he swings at the first pitch and rolls it over just past the first base dugout for strike 1. Defensively for Milford, it is Jacob Beater behind the plate, Matthew Shaver at third, Chris Brunt at short, Steven Simos at second, and Danny Johnson at first. Left to right in the outfield, Sam Parker, Ben McKenzie, and Tommy Ambrosoni. The 0-1 pitch misses inside, and the count now even at a ball and a strike. It is a 3-man officiating crew here in the state tournament. We also saw that in the zone finals. So right now the 2 infield umpires behind first and third base. And now a wave and a miss on a half-hearted swing from McCormick brings the count to 1-2. It was an impressive effort for Rice in that opening day of the zone playoffs, as Rice took on Northbridge Post 343, ended up tossing 6 scoreless innings. He allowed just 2 hits, walked 3, struck out 8, and picked up his 5th victory of the season. Misses high with the pitch to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes to McCormick. And Rice now accepting the sign from his battery mate back into the windup. And the 2-2 pitch is a line drive out to center field, and that will drop in for a base hit. Out into shallow center field. McKenzie was playing deep, and so that drops in front of him for a 1-out single. A good contingent of fans cheering on this Quincy Morissette team. They're mostly collected in the bleachers down the third base line and also down in the left field stands as well. Quincy in the third base dugout, Milford in their usual first base side. A called strike 1 now dealt into the catcher, Curtis Frazier. Quincy in their road gray uniforms with Morissette right across the chest. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that misses just off the outside part of the plate, and the count goes to 1-1. Quincy was the host team for the state tournament last year, so they received the automatic bid. This is a team full of veteran players, a lot of graduating seniors and college players making up this Quincy roster. A 2-ball, 1-strike count now on the lefty Frazier. McCormick now with a lead off of first base, being held on by Johnson. The runner takes off as the pitch misses outside and low. The throw from Beater is high, Chris Brunt able to leave his feet and keep that ball on the infield, but it's an easy steal for McCormick. And so Quincy now with a runner in scoring position as the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike on Frazier. 8 days in between outings for Jonathan Rice. Perhaps trying to work out the kinks here in this first inning. And obviously the adrenaline no doubt running high for these players getting to this state tournament level. It's a 3-2 count now after Frazier looped a foul ball off to the left side out of play. Chris Brunt doing some dancing up the middle for Milford, trying to keep McCormick close to the second base bag. As Rice goes back into the set. And now the 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Rice took something off that pitch, and Frazier was well out in front for the strikeout. The first K for Rice. And there are 2 outs now in this top of the first inning as the cleanup hitter Michael Roach comes to the plate. Right-handed hitter, imposing figure on that right side. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. As we mentioned in the open, Jonathan Rice with excellent strikeout numbers throughout the regular season in zone playoffs. Rice with 35 strikeouts in 31 2/3 innings. And now misses away with the pitch. Rice, or I should say Beater, popping up out of the crouch as that ball went wide over into the left side batter's box. McCormick once again breaks out to a lead at second base. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. The pitch darted down and out of the strike zone, eluding the bat of Roach, and it is now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Rice trying to end the inning right here. The flags are calm in the outfield, so not much breeze here as we get this game started. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and it's a bounding ball down the third base line, but that kicks off into foul territory. Grabbed by Shaver, he sends it right back to his pitcher as everyone resets now for another 1-2 offering. Roach taking a moment outside of the batter's box before he digs back in. Runner at second base, 2 outs in the inning. And Rice now ready with a 1-2 pitch, and it's slapped over towards third, grabbed by Shaver. The throw across the diamond low, but held on to by Danny Johnson for the out that retires the side. So Quincy able to get a 1-out base hit, but they do not score. And so Milford, post 59, will take their first state tournament swings of the game when we come back next here on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. And Milford will now take their first at-bats of their first game in tournament play. It will be Ben McKenzie, Steven Simos, and Sam Parker, the first 3 to the plate against the talented righty John McDonald on the hill for Quincy Morissette. And on cue, set with the first pitch of the inning, and it's a good hard fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Coach DeVito said the coaching staff had an opportunity to scout McDonald prior to making the start here today, and has a lot of good stuff, including good velocity on his fastball, which he throws in the low to mid 80s. A 1-ball, 1-strike count now on Ben McKenzie. McKenzie, terrific numbers through the regular season and first portion of the playoffs, batting .492 overall on the year. Takes a pitch low to bring the count to 2-1. In 63 at-bats so far on the year, McKenzie has 31 hits, 13 of them have been doubles. And now lifts a pop fly over to the right side of the infield. Calling for it is the first baseman, William McCarthy. He makes the catch, and they're able to hold McKenzie off the bases here to lead off the bottom of the first inning. Defensively for Quincy, it is Curtis Frazier behind the plate, John Joyce at third, Michael Roach at short, Matthew Joyce at second, and William McCarthy at first. Left to right in the outfield, Matthew Tomlinson, Zachary Hatfield, and Stephen Parsons. A big swing and a miss for the lefty Steven Simos as he comes to the plate with 1 out and the bases empty. into the windup, and now the 0-1 pitch, and this is lifted in the air out to shallow left center field. Racing over and taking charge is the left fielder Tomlinson. He will make the catch, and it is 2 up and 2 down in the bottom half of the first inning. That leaves the inning up to Sam Parker. Parker with the batting average at .346. 27 hits in 78 at-bats. And a lot of those have gone for extra bases. 9 doubles, 6 triples. And the 2 home runs on Milford's stat sheet for the season both belong to Sam Parker. He's also driven in 33 runs, the RBI leader on the team. A 1-ball, 1-strike count on the lefty slugger with the bases empty. The next pitch from McDonald is slapped through the right side of the infield for a base hit. And so Parker makes sure that McDonald does not enjoy a 1-2-3 first inning, and this will give an opportunity to Danny Johnson. Johnson with the batting average overall this season at .274. Trying to heat back up. He did have a couple of run-producing hits in the latter part of the zone playoffs. But Johnson was very hot in the first half of the season. Still is second on the team in runs batted in with 27. It's a no-ball, 1-strike count. And now the pitch. That is low, held onto by the catcher, Curtis Frazier. The count even at 1-1. Johnson is up to 29 strikeouts on the season. He does lead the team in that category as well. So trying to do a better job of making contact, cutting down on those Ks. Starting to stop at first base for Parker as the pitch is down in the dirt, and now Parker will keep on going down to second base, and he'll get there with no throw on the passed ball. And so now a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for Post 59, a 2-ball, 1-strike count on the right-handed swinging Danny Johnson. A look down to second base for McDonald. Now the pitch, a swing and a miss, and boy, did Johnson have a rip at that pitch, but he could not make contact. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Parker now leading away from second base. McDonald hesitates, and now the pitch to the plate is sent over the backstop and out of play, and it'll stay a 2-ball, 2-strike count. John McDonald, the righty, leading in now to get the sign, now comes to the set. Another 2-2 pitch, and Johnson sends a roller over towards shortstop. The throw off balance for Michael Roach, but he's able to get it over to first base in time for the out that retires the side. And so both teams strand a man in scoring position in the first, and it is scoreless between Milford Post 59 and Quincy Morissette Post 294 here on this coverage of Milford Legion Baseball. Back here on our coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3, top of the second inning. Milford third baseman Matt Shaver in on the grass at third base as Jonathan Rice will face off against the righty William McCarthy. Not indicating bunt on the first pitch as he watches it go outside for ball 1. Talking to the Milford coaches before the game, they said expect the bunt at any given moment against this Quincy team. They're aggressive. Representing District 6 here in the state tournament. Now the 1-1 pitch, and that misses outside. Another tall right-hander at the plate for Post 294. Rice now with the 2-1 offering, and it's sent in the air out to shallow right field, but lined up for it is Ambrosoni. He makes the catch, and it is that tough sky time right now here at Pheno Field that we've talked about of late. Right at dusk, as we are right at 8:20. The lights are on here at Pheno Field, but sort of a pinkish hue to the sky as the sun finishes setting off in the distance. So not the easiest sky for these outfielders to read fly balls. But that being said, Ambrosoni with no trouble catching that pop fly to record out number 1 against William McCarthy. So now it is the third baseman, John Joyce, up on the left side, and he takes ball 1. Bases are empty with 1 down. And now the 1-0 pitch. That misses low and outside. And the count now 2 balls and no strikes. And you can tell that Rice is still trying to get a feel for the corners through these early innings. Here comes his 2-0. And that one close, but it misses for ball 3. Back into the windup now, ready with the 3-0 pitch, and Joyce was taking all the way. He ends up taking a called strike at the knees. Lefty hitter settles back in, and now the windup and the 3-1 offering, that comes up and in for ball 4. So the first walk of the night allowed by Rice. And so once again, Quincy with a 1-out base runner. And we'll see if Joyce will be in motion here, as we saw with McCormick last inning. And meanwhile, it is the left fielder Matthew Tomlinson that stands in on the right side. The first pitch, a swinging strike, as Rice was able to get a fastball past the bat of Tomlinson. As we mentioned, Rice's only loss of the season came in Milford's season debut back in early June, as now this pitch gets past Beater. A late break for second base from Joyce, but no throw from Beater. And Beater then looking into the first base dugout after the fact. That ball rolled between Beater's legs, but Joyce didn't get a great read on whether that ball got past the catcher or not. Got a very late break to second base, but also caught a break as Beater did not throw through. And now a liner back up the middle. It glances off the gloves of both the pitcher Rice and the second baseman Simos as he came sliding in behind the second base bag. Everyone is going to be safe. It'll be an infield base hit for Tomlinson. And now Quincy with something brewing as they have runners at the corners and only 1 out. That was a scorcher back up the middle. Rice may have slowed it down just a bit on the way by. It wasn't entirely clear if Rice's glove made contact with that ball. Simos was able to knock it down with a knee slide in behind the second base bag, but couldn't make the clean stab. That at least saved a run for now, as Rice now pumps in strike 1 to the number 8 hitter Stephen Parsons, and will now send a pickoff check over to first base. But Tomlinson, back standing, did not have much of a lead. Shaver once again in tight on the grass at third base. They play a double play depth up the middle, as now an off-speed pitch drifts in for a called strike 2. So Rice able to get ahead of Parsons. Could use a strikeout here with 2 on and only 1 away. Lefty back to the set. Runner takes off for second base as the pitch is lined foul over to the left side and out of play. So Tomlinson will jog back to the first base bag with the count still 0-2. Bounces back out to a lead. It is Joyce leading away from third base. And too much time taken on the mound for Rice, trying to change up the timing to keep Tomlinson close to the first base bag, but the batter Parsons backs out. Now settles back in, a couple of practice swings. Runner does not go this time as the pitch just narrowly misses. Maybe a bit low. And the count now 1-2 on the right fielder Stephen Parsons. Key moment early in this game. Here's another 1-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. So Parsons down by way of the K, the second strikeout for Rice. And now 2 down in the inning with the number 9 hitter Zachary Hatfield coming to the plate. A lefty versus lefty battle. And again, the runner takes off for second base. The throw goes through for Beater, as now the runner from third base comes to the plate and he will score. A terrible decision from Jacob Beater, deciding to throw through for the steal to second base. And a bad throw to boot, and no problem for John Joyce to come in the back door to score. And so Milford, an opportunity perhaps to get out of this inning unscathed, and after a questionable pickoff attempt, it is Quincy that's able to strike first. They take a 1-0 lead. And now Rice fires in a strike. It's now 0-2. Beater yanked that throw to the shortstop side. Chris Brunt had to smother it in the dirt. Now the 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed. A couple of angry pitches there from Rice. Shuts down the inning. But again, that pickoff throw from Jacob Beater allows Quincy to bring a runner in from third base to score. And it is Quincy, post 294, to take a 1-0 lead over Milford, as we will move on to the bottom half of the second inning next. Coverage of Milford Legion baseball on MyFM 101.3 is brought to you in part by Harshaw Paving and Reclamation, filling all your paving needs. Call them today at 1-800-ASPHALT. Brendan Kelly with a swing and a miss as he opens up the bottom of the second inning. Quincy now leading Milford 1-0. And McDonald pops the mitt of Frazier with a fastball, but he misses high to even the count at 1-1. Quincy scratching a run across in the top of this second inning. Kelly now pops one foul out of play to bring the count to 1-2. Jacob Beater rolling the dice, sending that pickoff throw down to second base on Matthew Tomlinson. The throw was not close, and an opportunity for John Joyce to score the first run of the game. And adding insult to injury, as Jonathan Rice went on to strike out Hatfield on 3 pitches to end the inning. Opportunity for Milford to get out of it with no runs scored, but now we'll have to battle back from an early 1-run deficit. Now a 2-ball, 2-strike count on Brendan Kelly. He's had some flashes at the plate this season, but looking for consistency. This would be a great time to get into a groove. He's batting .208 overall on the season, and here takes a beautiful pitch right at the knees for a called strike 3. Perfectly executed pitch by John McDonald. Collects his first strikeout. McDonald, a student up at Babson College and a teammate of one of the assistant coaches in the Milford dugout, Alex Reynolds. Reynolds, the graduate assistant coach on the staff this year. And so you'd have to think that Reynolds is pretty familiar with the stuff from McDonald and has been able to instruct these Milford hitters on the best way to attack McDonald. An 0-1 count with the bases empty, and 1 down for Shaver, who now lifts a foul ball out of play. And he is quickly down in the count, 0-2. 243 is the season batting average for Shaver, 15 runs batted in. And now takes the 0-2 pitch just off the outside part of the plate. Boy, was that a close one. McDonald has been very good with the command so far. Here's his 1-2 pitch. It's a slicer down the right field line, but that is foul. And also a very quick worker through these early innings. Still a 1-2 count on Shaver, who sets up shop once again on the right side. The next pitch is sent hard and foul to the backstop. Shaver putting on a tough at bat, down by a couple strikes. Lighthearted crowd here at Pheno Field enjoying the early innings of this one. Here's another 1-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the second inning for McDonald. And now that will bring up Tommy Ambrosoni. Tommy getting his first taste of Legion baseball this season in the zone playoffs. as he takes the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike. This is just the 4th game now for Ambrosoni after coming back from that hand injury. He's had 8 at-bats so far on the season, just 1 hit. A 1 ball, 1 strike count now. Ambrosoni so valuable to this lineup a season ago. Trying to get comfortable at the plate again. He was very good for the Hopkinton High School team through their regular season and run all the way to a Division II state championship appearance. Here comes the 2-1 pitch to the lefty Ambrosoni, and he rolls it down the first base line. Took a high hop on McCarthy, but he was able to stick with it and takes it to the first base bag for the out that ends the inning. So a shutdown frame for John McDonald. He retires the side in order, and we will head on to the 3rd inning when we come back next on this playoff coverage of Milford Legion baseball. Jonathan Rice right back out there. He will face the top of the Quincy order: Matthew Joyce, Martin McCormick, and Curtis Frazier. John McDonald able to retire Kelly, Shaver, and Ambrosoni on a very small amount of pitches. Strikeouts to Kelly and Shaver before getting Ambrosoni on a ground out. And showing bunt on the first pitch of the inning is Matthew Joyce. Pops it up in foul ground down the first base line, and that drops harmlessly foul. Beater, Rice, and Johnson all going after it. For a moment it looked like Rice was grabbing at his hamstring after springing off the pitcher's mound, but it looks like instead he was just adjusting the uniform. The last thing any of these Milford fans want to see is any apparent injury to their ace starter. It's an 0-1 count now on Joyce, who grounded out in his first at bat. Now takes a pitch down and away to even the count at 1. Now the 1-1 pitch, and it bounces in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike. Matt Shaver has been frequently appearing in tight on the grass at third base. He is there once again. A good couple of paces there on the grass at third, as now this ball is bounced over towards short. It's bobbled by Brunt, tries to save it, and gets the throw to first base in time. He played that into a tougher play than it needed to be, as that ball glanced off the fingertips of his glove, but it did not travel too far away. And Brunt able to pick it up with the bare hand, and he spun around and fired a strike to first base. And meanwhile, Coach DeVito now calling for timeout. He is going out to the pitcher's mound, so perhaps Rice did injure himself on that run for that pop-up. And so this is the absolute last thing that any Milford fans want to see right now, and it turns into just a brief conversation. And now the home plate umpire going over to the Quincy coach, so perhaps making it clear that that was not a mound visit, but instead a potential injury visit. And so that will not count as one of the 2 mound visits for Coach DeVito in this inning. The Quincy coach accepting that explanation. So hopefully Rice is good to go, but that is going to be something that bears watching, as now this ball is lined out to center field, but it hangs up for McKenzie, who races in to make the catch. And so Joyce retired 6-3. Now Martin McCormick out on the line drive to center. And it's 2 up and 2 down. Rice in search of his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. Now dealing with the left-handed catcher Curtis Frazier. And he'll take a fastball that he has to duck out of the way to avoid contact. 1 ball, no strike count. And the next pitch drops in just low. So quickly a 2 ball, no strike count. The base is empty, 2 outs in the top of the 3rd. Wind up and the pitch, and it's bounced down the first base line, but it kicks off into foul territory. Danny Johnson trying to make the play in foul ground. Nearly made contact with the Quincy first base coach. 2 balls into strike. Frazier struck out swinging in his first at bat, and now takes a pitch low and outside. And obviously, with a pitcher, so much is based on the strength of your legs, and if Rice is dealing with any kind of hamstring or leg issue, it's going to impact how he's able to deliver these pitches, able to pump in a strike to fill up the count to Frazier. Everyone ready. Here comes the payoff pitch, and it's swung on and missed for strike 3. Foul tipped into the mitt of Jacob Beater, so Rice able to retire the side in order. He picks up strikeout number 4, and that will push us on to the bottom half of the 3rd inning in this first day of state tournament play. It is Quincy. So we'll need some base runners to get to the meat of the order here in this inning. So far, batters 3 through 6. Just 1 hit between them so far in the game. That was the 2-out single for Sam Parker back in the 1st inning, so that'll look at the meat of the order. Again, brought to you by Cedar Hill Farm in Mendon. Jacob Beater, the first to the plate, sends a smash over to first base, and it was bobbled by McCarthy as he tried to field that one on a tricky hop. Then a foot race to the bag between McCarthy and Beater. Beater opted for the feet first slide into first base, but the out recorded, and McCarthy now looks like he's a little bit ginger after he may have made some contact with Beater, as again both got to the bag right around the same time, but McCarthy able to record the out. The leadoff man retired, and now strike 1 dealt into Chris Brunt. And now the pitch low. 1 ball and 1 strike on Brunt, who's batting .329 overall on the season, 25 hits in 76 at-bats, and now sends a little flare just up over the reach of Matthew Joyce at second base. It drifts out into right center field for a 1-out base hit. Joyce tried to time the jump, but that ball snuck over his glove. And so Chris, with another postseason hit, able to get on with 1 out and bring the top of the order back to the plate. So now McKenzie up there, and he slaps one hard over to third base. The throw to second base gets the out there. The relay on to first is in time, and despite good speed for both Brunt and McKenzie, Quincy able to pull off the around the horn 5-4-3 inning ending double play. So just as it looked like Milford might have something cooking, John McDonald quickly shuts down the Milford rally, and we will move right on to inning number 4. It is still Quincy 1 and Milford nothing here on this playoff coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. Once again, we welcome you into Pheno Field, the site of this 2019 Massachusetts Legion State Tournament. The 4th game on the docket for the day, Milford versus Quincy, and it is a 1-0 ball game in favor of Quincy Post 294, who returns to the plate with their 4, 5, and 6 hitters against Jonathan Rice. And Rice misses outside with the first pitch for ball 1. It's been a fairly tight strike zone on the corners. The 1-0 pitch, and that's outside for ball 2. Continue to see if Rice shows any potential limitations, as again last inning when racing into foul ground to try to field a pop-up on a bunt attempt, and then appeared to slightly favor his left hamstring as he went back to the pitcher's mound. Coach DeVito later came out briefly to check on him, as now this ball is driven in the air out to the gap in left center field, but over to cover the ground is McKenzie, and he will make the catch. That ball hit high, and it gave McKenzie an opportunity to cover the ground to make the play, and Michael Roach is out number 1. And that will now bring up the first baseman, William McCarthy. He also looked to be a little bit Again, Ginger, after that play at the first base bag with Matt Shaver last inning, now sends a liner over towards right field. Ambrosoni races towards the line to make the play. And it's 2 up and 2 down, and 2 fast outs for Jonathan Rice, who came into this inning 49 pitches deep into his outing. And if you were tuned into the Sports Buzz this morning, Coach DeVito went over all of the pitch count rules that are on the books at the Legion level, which really come into play when you get into this state tournament. And basically, we'll try to go over some of the details of those pitch count rules, but you want to try to stay under 80 if you hope to come back at a later point in the tournament. And Rice with a nice low pitch count inning as he gets John Joyce to roll one over towards second base. Simos flips to first, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for Rice, who looks to be settling in now. He's retired the last 8 consecutive batters he has faced. And so this game moving along at a quicker clip now, right on to the bottom of the 4th inning. We'll go right after this. Again, you're listening to your home from Milford Legion Baseball, My FM 101.3. Quickly about to begin the bottom half of the 4th inning, and Steven Simos with a rip back up the middle, but knocked down by McDonald, and he will make the play at first base in time to record the out. You can't hit it much harder than Simos did there on the very first pitch of this bottom of the 4th inning, but right back to McDonald. The home plate umpire out to check on the Quincy starter. He says that ball hit him off the glove. And able to recover and make the throw to first base well in time to record the out on Simos, who is now 0 for 2. Good hard contact there, but nothing to show for it. And now here is Sam Parker, who has one of just 2 Milford hits so far in this one. Both teams with just 2 hits. But again, the 1 run in this game in the column for Quincy. And a hard fastball hits at the knees for a called strike against Parker. Now a 1-1 pitch that misses outside and low. Parker had an outstanding start to the zone playoffs with that memorable 3-hit game in which he collected a couple of doubles and 4 runs batted in. Overall in the playoffs, in the full zone playoffs coming into action tonight, Parker 6 for 15. Still sitting on those 4 runs batted in that he drove in that very first zone playoff game. He's now up there battling with a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Here's the next pitch, and it drifts high for ball 3. Matthew Joyce, the second baseman, playing very deep. He's a good 3 paces out onto the outfield grass. And will dive and still come up short on that shot through the right side for Parker. And so sort of a mini shift, still just 2 defenders on the right side, but Joyce playing sort of in that shotgun position that you'll see when the major league teams do the shift, but he was still unable to come up with that ground ball that snuck its way through the right side, and Parker is now 2 for 2. And now Johnson takes a pitch up and in for ball 1. Parker, after he singled with 2 outs in the first inning, was able to advance to second base, but was stranded there. Parker starts and stops at first base as the pitch misses outside, and Johnson now ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Johnson backing out momentarily from the box, now settles back in as McDonald peeks over to that runner at first base. Parker does not go. Johnson swings away and comes up empty. He was all geared up for a fastball. Pitch eludes his bat, and the count goes to 2-1. McDonald still working quickly. Parker takes off this time as Johnson fouls it away off to the right side. Sam Parker for the season with just a single stolen base. 2-2 count now on Danny Johnson. Waiting to see the next pitch. Long wait this time, and finally Johnson backs out. So now it's McDonald trying to throw off the timing of the base runner. He was going to wait out Johnson until he finally called timeout. Batter did so. And now an off-balance swing and a miss. The throw down to second base, and not there in time. First base was occupied at the time of the swing and a miss, so Johnson was immediately out despite that ball briefly dropping in the dirt. And then a close play at second base as Frazier did send a good, accurate throw down there, fielded by the shortstop, but Parker able to beat it out. So that will be the second stolen base of the season for Sam Parker. And scoring position again with 2 down, looking for Brendan Kelly to drive him in. The first pitch in for a called strike. Kelly struck out looking against McDonald his last time up. Another long hesitation on the mound for John McDonald. Now his pitch misses inside. Brendan Kelly in the playoffs coming into this game, 2 for 11. Has not driven in a run in the postseason as of yet. And he's also struck out now 5 times with the K in the second inning of this game. So these 4 and 5 hitters really needing to cut down on the strikeouts. As Kelly now sends a slow roller deep in the hole at shortstop. It's bobbled by Roach. He'll send the throw over to first base, but it's not in time. Roach had to go a long way to his right to field that ball. A quick release on the throw, but Brendan Kelly able to beat it out. That should go in the books as an infield single. And it puts runners at the corners now with 2 outs for Post 59 and a chance for Shaver. How many big pressure moments has Matt Shaver faced right here on this very field? In his second year of service on this Legion team, but of course the lone representative from Milford High School on this year's Legion roster, played a 4-year varsity career with his home games here at Pheno. Trying to drive in a big 2-out run batted in to tie up this game. Takes a strike on the outer edge to bring the count to 1 ball and 1 strike. Shaver struck out his first time up facing McDonald. Right-hander nods to the sign, now comes to the plate and deals a called strike 2. Shaver tends to take a lot of pitches early in counts. He has walked 21 times on the season, but down in the count here, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the next pitch, and it's low, held onto by Frazier. Milford would take a run any way they can get it. They would not shy away at seeing this tying run come home on a wild pitch. Here's the 2-2, and it's just off the inside part of the plate. Not missing by much. And so now a full count to Shaver. Ambrosoni would be the next hitter if we get that far. And meanwhile, McDonald loops a slow pickoff toss over to first base. Kelly did not have a very big lead, able to get back to the bag. He'll have an opportunity to get a head start on this next pitch. He does go as the pitch is lined down the right field side. That is foul, and it will drift off, landing in the Milford bullpen. Still a 3-2 count. Shaver putting on another long at bat. A hit would tie this game up. 2 outs deep in the bottom of the 4th inning. Runner again goes from first base as the pitch misses outside for ball 4. It's dropped by Frazier, but does not get too far away, so Parker stays put on the third base bag, and now the bases are loaded. The first walk allowed by John McDonald tonight. So it's Parker at third, Kelly at second, Shaver at first. And the first pitch misses low for ball one to Ambrosoni. This is the biggest at bat of his season so far. Here's the 1-0, and he takes it on the inside corner for a strike. Ambrosoni grounded out to first base in his first at bat. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and it's up and away for ball two. And the Milford fans engaged now. A two-out rally in the making. Milford trailing by a run. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and it's on the outside corner for a strike. That's a borderline pitch. We've seen that called a ball more often than not in the game, but the strike zone expanding there on that last pitch. And now McDonald ready with a 2-2, and it's a slow roller towards second base, fielded by Joyce. He'll flip to the first base bag for the out that ends the inning. Milford strands the bases loaded in the bottom of the fourth inning. They fail to score, and so we will move on to inning number 5 with the score unchanged, 1-0 in favor of Quincy Morissette, post 294, here in our coverage of Milford Legion baseball on My FM 101.3. Tim Coet back with you on the call for Milford Legion baseball. We're now into the top half of the 5th inning. Quincy with 1 run on just 2 hits with no errors. Milford no runs, 4 hits, no errors. So Milford out hitting post 294, but again, that pickoff throw in the top of the 2nd inning, allowing the one and only run of this game to score so far. A tight ball game once again. Most of these games today have been tight, low-scoring affairs. The most runs scored we've seen was the 6 tallied by Ashland in game 1 earlier this morning. Since then, that game, it was a 6-3 victory for Ashland. We've seen a 1-0 game, a 3-0 game, and now a 1-0 score here into the 5th inning. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count on the number 7 hitter in the Quincy lineup, Matthew Tomlinson. Rice's next pitch is swung on and missed, and evens the count at 2-2. Rice has settled into a groove since those early innings. He has not allowed a base runner since the 2nd. Now his 2-2 pitch, and it's popped up down the right field line into foul territory. A long run for Danny Johnson, and no one is there to make the catch. Steven Simos ended up the one in best position to make the play. He came racing on the scene. He got there in time. Looked like the ball might have grazed his glove, but he couldn't make the catch. And so Tomlinson will get another chance here. It stays a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Everyone retakes their positions as Simos, Johnson, and Ambrosoni all raced deep into foul territory to try to make a play there. Now another 2-2 pitch, and Rice unable to get Tomlinson to chase off the outside part of the plate, and it's a full count now. The bottom third of the Quincy lineup due up in this inning. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. Rice challenged him with a fastball, and Tomlinson could not catch up. That's strikeout number 5 for Rice. And now Stephen Parsons comes to the plate. He too struck out in his first at bat against Rice. And he takes the first pitch outside. That ticks off the glove of Beater and rolls off to the backstop. Left-handed batter facing the left-handed hurler Jonathan Rice. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's sent in the air out to center field. This sends McKenzie back. He now settles underneath and is able to make the catch for out number 2. And so now that will leave the inning up to the number 9 man, Zachary Hatfield. Hatfield 0 for 1 with a K. Another lefty hitter at the bottom of this Quincy Morissette lineup. And Hatfield takes the pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Both bullpens quiet as we traverse through the middle innings of this tournament game. Here's the 0-1 now, and that misses. Two seasons ago, Jonathan Rice limited by injuries. At first, we did not think he would appear at all in the state tournament. 1-1 pitch grounded foul down the first base line. He ended up getting cleared medically to return late in the tournament. He ended up making a relief appearance in the state final game against Braintree, a game that Milford ended up losing in mercy rule fashion. Here's the 1-2 pitch now, and it is waved at and missed for strike 3. 2 more strikeouts in the inning for Jonathan Rice. He has 6 strikeouts in the game, and now 3 consecutive 1-2-3 frames. He's retired 11 consecutive batters. Rice in a groove. The offense needs to settle into one as well, as Milford trails Quincy in this game 1-0. On to the bottom of the 5th next here on My FM 101.3. We are already on to the bottom of the 5th inning. Not a lot of offense for either side in this game. Just 1 run on the scoreboard. It belongs to Quincy. And now Jacob Beater leading off the home half of the 5th. Grounds one to the second baseman, Matthew Joyce, who flips it over to first base. And Beater is out number 1. And now on to the number 9 spot in the lineup, Chris Brunt, who is 1 for 1 today with a single. And he fouls one, I should say, off the catcher's gear for strike 1. If you look at the run totals by game for Milford throughout their playoff run so far, as Brunt fouls one away for strike 2. You look back to the opening game of the zone playoffs, an 8-0 win over Northbridge. After that, a 5-1 win against Cherry Valley, a 4-3 close one against Sturbridge to win bracket A, as Brunt takes the pitch on the inside corner for strike 3, and there's quickly 2 down now in the 5th. Down on 3 pitches. Brunt did not like that strike 3 call, but will make his way back to the dugout now. And so after that 4-3 win to secure bracket A, it was a 5-2 loss against Shrewsbury and then a 7-0 loss against Shrewsbury. So the offense has been trending in the wrong direction. The run total going down each game they've advanced in the playoffs, and they have yet to score a run here in game 1 of the state tournament. Ben McKenzie trying to generate something with 2 outs and the base is empty for Milford. He has been unusually quiet so far tonight. He's popped out to first base and then grounded into a 5-4-3 inning-ending double play. Now takes one on the inside corner for a strike that brings the count to 1-2. It was the toughest inning of the night so far for McDonald in the 4th, but breezing through this 5th inning so far, and now gets a swing and a miss against McKenzie. 2 Ks in the inning for McDonald, and it is a 1-2-3 bottom half of the 5th inning. No hits, no base runners for either side in the 5th. So 5 full in the books now from Pheno Field, where the score remains Quincy 1 and Milford 0 here on this coverage of Milford Legion baseball in the 2019 state tournament here on My FM 101.3. It is Rice back out on the hill for inning number 6. We don't have the exact figure on his pitch count. We missed it when it was announced here in between innings, but it has been a much lower pitch count for Rice over the last 3 innings. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count now on Matthew Joyce, as we will go a 3rd time through this Quincy lineup. Joyce 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs. Now about to see a 1-1 pitch. He rolls it down the first base line foul. At no point have we seen any activity in the Milford bullpen. Now, if Jonathan Rice were to go over 80 pitches in this start, then he would need, I believe, 4 days of rest. It would take him out of coming back in this tournament, as now the 1-2 pitch is swung on and missed, and Joyce is down by way of the K. Strikeout number 7 for Rice. But of course, Milford needing to focus all their attention on trying to win this game needing to do it in come-from-behind fashion. Quincy scratching across the lone run of the game so far in the top of the second inning. And now a high fly ball hit out to left field off the bat of Martin McCormick, but there's room out there for Sam Parker. No wind here at Pheno, so that ball just kind of died midway out into left field, and Parker a chance to track it down and make the catch for out number 2. That's about the hardest hit ball we've seen out of Quincy tonight. Nothing to show for it. It's 2 up and 2 down, leaving the inning now up to the number 3 hitter, Curtis Frazier. And a half-hearted swing and a miss. Frazier baffled on that pitch from Rice, and the count 0-1. Frazier has done the same thing twice tonight. That is strikeout. Lefty versus lefty matchup, and the pitch misses high. 1-1 with the bases empty and 2 gone. We're in the 6th. Here comes the next pitch, and it's a dribbler out in front of the plate, but the home plate umpire says that ball is foul. It might have grabbed a piece of the batter after he made contact with it. So it's now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Rice in search of his 8th K. And into the windup now, the 1-2 pitch, and that misses. Bounced in the dirt over in the right side batter's box, and it's now a 2-2 count. Rice stares right back in for the sign, now kicks and fires and misses outside once again. And so from a 1-2 count, it is now a 3-ball, 2-strike count on Curtis Frazier. The lefty ready in the box, the lefty ready on the mound, the payoff pitch, and it misses low for ball 4. So Frazier this time able to wait out Rice, who allows just his 2nd walk of the game. And that breaks up a string of 13 consecutive batters retired by Jonathan Rice. He had not allowed a base runner since the 2nd inning. But yields a 2-out walk here to Frazier, and it gives a chance to Michael Roach. Roach is 0 for 2. He grounded out to third base in the 1st inning, then flew out to center in the 4th. The first pitch of the at-bat misses inside and low. Roach had to pull the feet back to avoid contact with that pitch. A short lead at first base for Frazier. And now Roach lifts a fly ball foul out of play to the right side. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, and a runner aboard now for Post 294. Here's the pitch. And that misses for ball 2. Narrowly missing. Not sure if that was a tick low or just outside. Now the 2-1 pitch. And that misses away for ball 3. And so all of a sudden now Rice in danger of walking back-to-back hitters. And again, we have not seen any activity in the Milford bullpen. I expect if we see a walk here to Roach, we'll see someone make their way out to the bullpen fairly quickly. The 3-1 pitch lifted in the air and foul ground down the right field line. Johnson racing over, but he will not catch up to it. And then careens off into the crowd down the right field line. Ended up stopping his momentum on the light post down the right field side. So cannot make the play, and it's a full count on Michael Roach. That'll give Frazier a chance to get a head start at first base. Runner goes, the payoff pitch is slapped out in front of the plate, but that is a foul ball. And now, no, they'll say it's a fair ball. The infield umpire making the ruling that that was a fair ball, so Milford flips it over to first base for the out that ends the inning. So Milford now will walk off the field. It looks like now the 3 umpires are going to get together And so Milford and the Quincy base runners have left the field. The three umpires still getting together here, so everyone's sort of on hold here for a moment. We'll stay here as we see if anything changes here with the call. It looked like the home plate umpire initially ruled that a foul ball as if it had hit the batter. And so now they are going to pull Milford back onto the field. As the three umpires got together, they say that that ball made contact with Roach's foot in the batter's box. And so Milford is now going to have to return to the field, so we're not done quite yet. Here in this top of the sixth inning, Coach DeVito now looking for further explanation as he's out there with two of the three umpires right on the first base line. In the midst of conversation, Coach DeVito none too pleased. Again, it looks like right as the play developed, the home plate umpire was ruling that as a foul ball. The umpire that was positioned in front of second base then ruled it a fair ball, and Milford was able to record the out to end the inning. But the reversal of the call will pull us back on the field for an intriguing situation here. The count remains 3-2 on Roach. Frazier is back at first base. Everyone reset at their positions. So another big pitch coming up here for Jonathan Rice. Right-handed batter now digs back in. He is ready. Rice comes set. Another 3-2, and it misses low for ball four. Another very close pitch that does not go Rice's way, and that might have been the most egregious one yet. That looked to be a good pitch right at the bottom of the strike zone. And Coach DeVito, who was already none too pleased with the reversal of the third out of the inning. We cannot see him right now over in the first base dugout, but he can guess that the blood pressure is rising for the Milford head coach as Rice now drops in a called first strike to William McCarthy. So after getting the first two outs in this sixth inning, Rice has walked back-to-back hitters. And now a no-ball, one-strike count on the first baseman, William McCarthy, who is 0 for 2 in the game. More pitches needed here for Rice in the sixth. Here's his 0-1, and that is in for a called strike two. It has had the feel as if the strike zone's been a little bit smaller for Rice than it's been for McDonald in this game. Trying to manage his way through. Here's his 0-2 pitch, and another good one that is ruled outside, and the Milford coaches apoplectic over in the first base dugout, and with good reason. It's a 1-2 count now. The next pitch misses clearly outside. Now the throw to third base as the runner takes off for third, and they're going to rule the runner safe at third base. A late break for third base from Frazier at second. The throw beat him by a good margin, and apparently he managed to slide around the tag, as right now absolutely nothing has gone Milford's way in this top of the sixth inning. So now it's runners at the corners for Quincy with a 2-ball, 2-strike count on the batter. And now the runner takes off for second base, nobody covering the second base bag, and so Milford just lets it happen. With Rice motionless on the mound, Roach with the steal of second, so now two in scoring position. And the 2-2 pitch into the batter is swung on and missed. Beater applies the tag, and so in the end, Milford able to escape a slightly controversial top half of the sixth inning with no runs scored. Quincy strands two in scoring position. Will this light a fire under the Milford offense? They need to get something going. On to the bottom of the sixth we go. It is still a 1-0 Quincy lead here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. Quite an eventful top of the sixth inning. Milford looked to have strike three on a little squibber in front of the plate, only to have the call overturned, ruling the ball was foul. Milford ultimately allowed the walk, putting two on with two outs, then a play at third base that looked like Milford had the runner caught stealing. But the runner ruled safe, apparently eluding the tag with the diving play into the third base bag. A couple of close pitches not going Rice's way in the inning, but Jonathan Rice able to dig deep and strands those two runners in scoring position. And so how will Milford respond at the plate in their half of the 6th inning? They have some of their big bats due up, Simos, Parker, and Johnson. It's right now a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Steven Simos, who sent a scorching line drive back up the middle his last time up, but the pitcher able to knock it down and throw Simos out. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and Simos lifts it down the left field line, twisting into foul territory and beyond the reach of Tomlinson. And so it will be now a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Simos. He's cooled down just a bit in the postseason. He's now 5 for 16. So it's been more the late games in the playoffs, mostly the zone final against Shrewsbury, in which the offense as a whole really did not have a lot of success. Simos now with another fly ball foul down the third base side and right to the edge of the bleachers and just beyond the reach of John Joyce. Just beyond the bar at the very edge of those stands down the left field side. So it stays 2-2 on Simos. Both of these starters going deep into the games. The pitch count's elevated. Rice now the pitch count at 90. Now the 2-2 pitch on Simos, and he lifts a foul again out of play off to the left. So by my understanding of the pitch count rules, Rice would need, I believe, 4 days of rest before coming back with the pitch count that he's at right now. So in all likelihood, we will not see Rice again in this tournament, as Simos continues to foul off pitch after pitch. This pitch count in this at-bat quickly reaching double digits. So we believe that McDonald's pitch count is right in that same vicinity. Here's another 2-2, and this time it misses high for ball 3. And it feels as though Milford has ratcheted up the intensity a bit over in the first base dugout. The fans lively as well. Here's the 3-2, and it's a line drive through the left side of the infield for a base hit. And you had a sense in the top half of this inning that the Milford coaches, the Milford players, and the Milford fans started to feel like the calls were decidedly going against their team, and that has rallied everyone together here. It's about as lively a crowd as we've seen all night. And Milford with their leadoff man on base for the first time all night. Runner at first base ahead of Sam Parker. And he'll take the pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. Parker is 2 for 2, a pair of singles. We'll see if Simos is active on the base paths here. Long hesitation, and now a pickoff play over at first base. Not a very good one. It's a soft lob toss over from McDonald that was dropped by McCarthy. Simos back to the bag standing, and now jumps right back out to a lead. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. It's a liner back up the middle, but too much hang time as Zachary Hatfield barely had to move a muscle to make that catch out in center field. Probably the hardest hit ball from Parker today, but he's retired for the first time. 1 out now in the bottom of the 6th inning. Danny Johnson at the plate. Milford really needing some production out of these 5 and 6 spots in the lineup. Beg your pardon, 4 and 5 spots in the lineup. Simos now takes off for second base. The throw down is a very good one, and Simos is out at second. Frazier has been very accurate with his throws around the infield in this game, and guns down Simos trying to get himself into scoring position, and boy, has the complexion of this inning changed. Milford with the leadoff man on, and now all of a sudden its base is empty with 2 outs and a little dribbler over to the right side. It's boxed around by Joyce, and that will allow Johnson to reach. It was such a slow roller over to the right side. It got past McCarthy at first. Joyce had to go a long way to his left. Couldn't secure it in the glove, and so we'll put that in the books as an E4 for now, but that was a judgment call there. Extends the inning now for Brendan Kelly. And Kelly swings at the first pitch, lifts a fly ball out to center field. It sends Hatfield back a few paces, but ultimately able to make the catch for the out that ends the inning. Milford comes up empty in their half of the 6th inning. That will send us on to the 7th. It is a 1-0 lead for Quincy over Milford here on our coverage of Milford Legion baseball on My FM 101.3. We are into the 7th inning. This game right around the 90-minute mark. Again, not a lot of offense. These two teams have combined for just 7 hits. Quincy scored a run without the benefit of a hit in the top of the 2nd inning, and that is the difference in the ball game. They were able to get a runner to third base with 2 outs. They had runners at the corners in that inning. A runner from first attempting a steal for second base. Jacob Beater elected to throw through down to second base to try to catch that runner. It was not a good throw, and it allowed John Joyce, the runner from third base, a chance to come home. And that has been the only scoring play in this game. Neither team has really had much of a legitimate scoring chance since that 2nd inning. Milford has had a runner to third base just once on the night. That came back in the 4th. And so we are here now in the 7th inning. Jonathan Rice, the starter, still out there. His pitch count now over 90 as he faces John Joyce. A 2-ball, 1-strike count on the lefty bat. He now shows bunt. Lines the bunt foul to the backstop. Milford has stranded 5 base runners in the game. Quincy has stranded 4. And now awaiting a 2-ball, 2-strike pitch. Here it comes. And it's off the outside part of the plate. Now a full count. Milford now has activity loosening in the bullpen for the first time. Quincy's bullpen appears to be quiet. It looks like it might be Tommy Leone warming up in the bullpen. Hard to tell. The official Legion canopy positioned just in front of the bullpen, partially shielding our view. Here's a 3-2 pitch now, and it's popped up in foul ground behind third base. Shaver having some trouble with it, but able to settle down to make the catch. And Joyce is out number 1. That brings up the number 7 hitter, Matthew Tomlinson. He has one of the 2 Quincy hits. It was an infield single in the 2nd inning. Ended up being a crucial hit as he was the base stealer that allowed Quincy to bring their run across. A hit by Martin McCormick in the 1st inning, then that infield single for Tomlinson in the 2nd. The only hit surrendered by Jonathan Rice in this game. Now a 1-ball, 1-strike count. So in 2 playoff starts so far in 2019 for Rice, he's allowed a combined 1 run on 4 hits. He has been tough. And the 1-1 now is in for a called strike 2. No one has made the decision to leave this field. The fans that were here from pitch 1 still here now in this close game. Now a ground ball hit deep in the hole at shortstop. Front, a good strong throw to first base is able to beat Tomlinson for out number 2. Two up and 2 down in the top of the 7th. Looking ahead to the bottom half of the inning, Milford will have Shaver, Ambrosoni, and Beater due up. The 6, 7, and 8 hitters. And we would fully expect to see John McDonald back out there on the hill. But in the meantime, some business here in the top of the 7th as Stephen Parsons stands in. And he takes the first pitch for ball 1. Now the 1-0 pitch from Rice, and that's in for a strike. Parsons tonight has struck out swinging and flown out to center field. The left-handed batter digs back in. Now the 1-1 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. Rice has had 1, 2, 3 innings in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. He's now retired the first 2 batters in the 7th. And now about to deliver the 1-2 pitch to Parsons. And it misses just off the outside part of the plate to even the count at 2-2. Light breeze now drifting in towards home plate. As Rice is ready, here is his 2-2 pitch. And it misses low. Rice snaps at the return throw from the catcher. He has been squeezed on more than a few occasions in this game. Now forced to deliver a 3-2 pitch. And it's sent slowly over towards the right side. A tough play for Simos, off balance. He couldn't make the play. He came charging in on that slow bounding ball, and it ticked off his glove, couldn't play it cleanly, and that will allow Parsons to reach, so he could have very easily been struck out on the previous pitch, gets another chance, and reaches on the ball that does not leave the infield. Coach DeVito now marching out to the pitcher's mound, and he will take the baseball from Jonathan Rice. He gives him a handshake, too, on the way past. And this crowd will now salute the starting pitcher, Jonathan Rice, who leaves this game after 6 2/3 brilliant innings, allowing just the 1 run on now 3 hits. And will leave the ball game here. It will be Tommy Leone on to pitch for Post 59 here with a runner aboard and 2 outs in the 7th inning. Milford needing to hold serve here, trailing 1-0. We will pause for the pitching change. More action to come in just a moment here on My FM 101.3. The new pitcher on for Milford Post 59 is Tommy Leone. He will now make his 9th appearance on the pitcher's mound in 2019. Most of those have been out of the bullpen. He comes in with a 1-0 record, a 3.71 ERA. He's pitched an even 17 innings on the season. He's allowed 19 hits, 9 earned runs, 8 walks to 18 strikeouts for Leone, and opposing hitters are batting .269 against him. And quickly pumps in a first pitch strike to the number 9 hitter, Zachary Hatfield. Leone looking to finish this inning off for Rice, who departed after allowing the 2-out infield base hit. Now a fastball misses inside, and the count goes to 1-1. Righty reliever Leone facing the lefty bat Hatfield. Runner aboard at first base. And now a pickoff check over there, and diving back in safely is Parsons. So of the now 3 hits that Quincy has in this game, only 1 of them actually left the infield. Now the 1-1 pitch, that misses up and away. Leone last worked in relief of Milford's victory against Sturbridge to claim bracket A in the zone playoffs. Pitched an inning and 2/3 of scoreless relief, did allow an inherited runner to score. Had 4 strikeouts in that appearance. Fires in a called strike 2, and now an even count of 2 balls and 2 strikes on Zachary Hatfield, who struck out swinging in the 2nd, struck out swinging again in the 5th. Milford would love to see 1 more K on the score sheet for Hatfield here in the 6th. Hesitation now, the 2-2 pitch. It misses high. The runner takes off for second base. The throw down is there in time. And so Beater able to catch Parsons trying to steal the second base bag, and that will bring an end to the top of the 7th inning. So no runs scored for Quincy. They will carry the slimmest of leads, 1-0 into the bottom of the 7th inning. Milford looking to pull this one out in the bottom of the 7th. Can they do it? We'll find out when we come back after this on our coverage of Milford Legion baseball here on My FM 101.3. Last chance for the Milford Bats in the bottom of the 7th inning. And they will face the starter, John McDonald, who has been outstanding. Could not ask for better starting pitching than both of these teams have displayed tonight. A quick 1-0 count on the first Milford batter of the 7th, Matt Shaver, who now takes another pitch inside for ball 2. Shaver reached on a walk his last time up and now takes the pitch high for ball 3. Shaver trying to get a board here to instantly put the tying run on the base paths. Here is the 3-0 pitch. And Shaver takes it low for ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk, just the second free pass issued by McDonald in the game. And so Milford does indeed place the tying run on base to begin the 7th inning. Now here is Ambrosoni, 0 for 2 so far tonight. And he shows bunt, pulls the bat back, and takes ball 1 low. So the first 5 pitches have missed the strike zone for McDonald, who had 87 pitches coming into this inning. So here he is nearing the end of his rope. It does look like there is activity now in the Quincy bullpen as Ambrosoni drops the bunt out in front of the pitcher's mound. A soft toss to first base just barely gets there in time. And a trio of Milford coaches immediately pop out of the dugout to argue that was a bang-bang play at the first base bag. Coach DeVito now roaming in from the third base coach's box. It was a very slow throw from McDonald, who fielded the bunt. And at first glance, it looked like Ambrosoni beat the throw, but ruled out at the first base bag. However, it will be credited as a sacrifice bunt. The tying run now in scoring position with 1 out. And now here is Jacob Beater. And Beater takes the first pitch on the inside corner for strike 1. Beater tonight has grounded out to first base and grounded out to second. Now the 0-1 pitch, and it's hit hard but foul down the first base line. And Beater down in the count, 0-2. It's Milford fans imploring a 7th inning rally. Shaver leading away from second. The 0-2 pitch is swung on and missed. The ball briefly gets away from the catcher. Now the throw to first base is a bad one. And Beater now down to second base, and he's going to be out at second. A feet first slide into the second base bag for Jacob Beater as that ball drifted underneath the first baseman's glove, rolled out into shallow right field. A bang-bang play at the second base bag, and unbelievable to see another close play go against Milford. Coach DeVito now out with the infield umpire who made the call. Shaver was able to advance to third base on the play. Beater, once he saw that ball get away, quickly raced on to second base and looked like he was able to slide in safely ahead of the throw, but the infield umpire, who had the closest vision of the play, ruling Beater out. Beater still standing at the second base bag. The argument from Coach DeVito goes nowhere, so now Beater starts to make his way back to the first base dugout. And again, there have been a lot of close calls in this game. You can imagine so with a 1-0 score. So much has hinged on every moment in this game, but it is hard to argue at the amount of calls that have gone against Milford as this game has gone on. It's easy for the hometown fans to throw up the argument, but there is certainly some legitimacy there in so many close plays at the bases, close plays in the strike zone, plays overturned in this game, and every single time it has been a judgment call play. The end result has gone against Post 59. It has been a hard pill for these fans to swallow. And so now the situation facing this team, they're down to their final out. They have the tying run at third base, and right now a conference on the pitcher's mound on the Quincy side. Coach DeVito taking the opportunity to put an arm around the next batter due up, Chris Brunt, to try to calm the hitter down. Coach DeVito also relaying a message to the first base dugout. Could not quite tell what that message was. So here we are now set to continue this game, hanging in the balance here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Shaver at third, and now the first pitch into Brunt misses up and in for ball 1, and that barely missed making contact with the righty hitter. Brunt is 1 for 2 tonight. Here's the next pitch, and that is in for a called strike. So McDonald now 1 out away from the complete game shutout. Shaver a lead away from third base. Here's the 1-1 pitch. It's a sinking line drive out to right field. A diving play from Parsons. He can't get there. It gets away from him. Shaver comes in to score. Brunt ends up at second base with a 2-out RBI double that ties this game at 1. And these fans erupt. The Milford players spill out of the dugout. A clutch 2-out hit from Chris Brunt, dropping it right in front of the diving Parsons out in right field. The ball then got past him, fortunately quickly dying on the outfield grass, or else Brunt might have been able to circle the bases. Instead, he winds up at second base. He now represents the winning run with Ben McKenzie now at the plate. And McKenzie takes the first pitch outside for ball 1. What a sequence. A 1-ball, no-strike count. Here comes the next pitch. It's lined back up the middle, and that's going to sneak through out into center field. They'll wave Chris Brunt to the plate. The throw is not going to get there in time, and Milford, post 59, will walk off with the 2-1 victory here on day 1 of the state tournament. Unbelievable here in the 7th inning. Quincy 1 out away from victory. Brunt ties the game with a double, and then Ben McKenzie with a roller back up the middle. It sneaks through for a hit, and Brunt scores. And Milford putting these fans right on the brink here at Pheno Field tonight, but they come through when it matters most. And post 59 with a walk-off victory in the state tournament. 2-1 the final score. And these two teams will now shake hands at home plate. John McDonald just dropped to his back on the pitcher's mound after seeing that result. He pitched so well all night long, as did Jonathan Rice. But ultimately, Milford digging deep here. A lot stacked against them in this game, but they are able to emerge with a hard-fought 2-1 victory.